Hello, I'm Steve Evans, co-founder and director of Account Tests, and the author of our personality questionnaire, the APPQ. This video aims to give users an interpretation guide for making the most of the APPQ Pathway to Partnership module report. If you're looking for interpretation support for our hire and onboarding, training and development, or team reports, please go to the video link on the respective pages of our website. If you have a Pathway to Partnership report in front of you, it should look something like what you can see on the screen right now. So as a summary for this video, APPQ is the world's only personality questionnaire that focuses on the personality traits associated with success identified by the accounting profession, with accounting-specific reporting and benchmarking norm groups of other accountants. The Pathway to Partnership module is for employers of accountants with aspirations to become future partners or senior managers. The report takes a snapshot of a participant's personality profile today and compares that profile to an ideal profile of partners and senior managers in professional services firms and corporations. There is a warning on page 3, which you've got right in front of you now, to alert users that this supplementary report does not include essential information on personality questionnaire limitations or whether your participating staff have completed their questionnaires openly and honestly. When you receive the email with the link to the report you've got in front of you, you will have also received a link to the APPQ Training and Development Report. It is vital that you open and familiarize yourself with pages 3 to 6 of that Training and Development Report before using the findings and recommendations in this report. So let's move on to page 4, where you get a one-page graphical illustration of the APPQ Personality Profile Report, your participant's personality profile, and the ideal profile of partners and senior managers in professional services firms. I'll run through the key features of this sample report, but before I do that, there is a wealth of information on each personality trait, the meaning of every score in our APPQ User's Handbook, and I would encourage you to get familiar with this document if you're going to use APPQ reports in supporting big hiring or development decisions. Back onto the page on the screen, let's look at the personality traits first, which run down the left hand of the page. Each trait has a brief description of the behaviors likely in people with low and high scores on the left and right hand side of the page. There is a 10-point scale for each trait, where a participant scores in each trait. The respondent's personality profile is displayed on that 10-point scale for each trait. That 10-point scale represents the distribution curve of the norm group of accounting professionals. Scores 5 and 6 are average scores. So on this profile, Helen's conscientiousness score suggests she is likely to be as conscientious as most other accountants, whilst her self-confidence score places her as being much more apprehensive and prone to self-doubt than most accountants. The deep red circles identify the respondent's placement on that 10-point scale, with the paler red at either side representing the statistical margin of error, which is inherent to all personality questionnaires. The grey circles, interlinked with grey lines, represent the ideal profile for partners and senior managers. This ideal profile is derived from traits associated with success in senior roles in professional services firms and private corporations, and taken from combined ideal profiles across multiple personality questionnaires. Keep in mind that your firm's culture may not align entirely with this ideal profile. You may want to adjust where you believe the ideal profile lies in your firm, but I would caution against making scores a 9 or a 10 as an ideal score in any trait, as you run a real risk of ruling out wholly suitable candidates for development into senior roles. It's also important to remind you at this stage that there are strengths and risks associated with every score on every trait. The Training Development Report link in the same email that delivered you the link to this report has a section of strengths and challenges, which I would recommend you read before making any decisions based on a respondent's APPQ profile. The first thing most readers on this page think about performing is some kind of gap analysis between the ideal profile and their respondent's profile, thinking that the widest gaps represent the biggest training and development priority. Whilst a completely relevant use of the report, there is an essential step to take first. Any personality questionnaire, where worthy of consideration, asks the respondent to state their preferences in dealing with a range of situations. What any personality questionnaire cannot tell you is firstly whether a respondent is aware of their preferences, and secondly what they may already be doing to account for their preferences. Whilst the gap analysis is the right thing to do, the real value in this report is the feedback session with the respondent, as this is where you will discover the gaps the respondent is already aware of and may well have addressed or been in the process of addressing through coaching and training. Whilst the respondent often discovers blockages in the path of their career development, which they can work on with their managers or people responsible for staff retention and career development within your firm. Moving away from the one-page graphic illustration of your respondent's personality profile in relation to the partner's and ideal profile, we get the practical descriptions of the traits and, perhaps more importantly, suggested training, coaching and development steps to aid their long-term development towards senior roles. Some of the suggestions might be quick fixes. Others, especially those associated with well-being, are likely to be long-term coaching and support. As mentioned just now, some may already have been addressed in the process or in the process of being addressed by the respondent. For each trait, the pale blue section describes the trait and how it relates to the effectiveness in a senior role, and then the bullet-pointed text below describes the respondent's profile that's in relation to that ideal and makes coaching or training recommendations to address potential concerns. Development recommendations include links to helpful videos to facilitate self-directed learning, in addition to coaching or training that's likely to be facilitated inside the firm. As mentioned earlier, the coaching and development steps for respondents who report low scores on traits relating to well-being are likely to be long-term and multiple-step interventions, and the report reflects that with a blend of self-directed and in-person recommendations. Okay, I hope this video has given you a quick introduction, but a useful but quick introduction to the Pathway to Partnership module and how to use it. Bear in mind that you've got that much more detailed available in that APPQ manual, which is at your fingertips too. We appreciate that if you're trying to get yourself up to speed in using this questionnaire, you may well have other questions, and we are always available to help you with any of those just with our contact details on the page. In the meantime, thanks for watching.